Hello and welcome back to Superlights and GPVWC. We're in the third leg of the 4-4 this Singapore round. This Ewan Gale with you, and I'm joined by Menno Klont this week. Menno, nice to see you. Very quickly before we get on the grid, what are you expecting from tonight's race? Menno is actually gone a bit quiet at the moment, so we'll come back to Menno in a moment. Yeah, Marina Bay Street Circuit, 50 laps, the longest of the season due to the lap time to track distance ratio. So a long one in store and the softest tyre compound in store as well, which means that we should have plenty of pit stops to spice the strategy up. We have got an interesting grid then. We've got Shimon Frelick on pole alongside Jan Grankvist, two of the top three in the championship. With Luke Mitchell, incredibly for Drake, in third, a great qualifying lap for him. And then it's the championship leader, Luke Maguire, but crucially on medium tyres after qualifying. So just about to start then the formation lap with the Royal Blue Racing on pole. Frelick, as I said, on pole after a great qualifying lap alongside Jan Grankvist for Super Venturi. Luke Mitchell, Drag Racing, P3, alongside championship leader Luke Maguire, as I said, on those harder tyres. Second THR, Chris Butcher, fifth alongside Sandeep Singh, will be hoping to overcome a DNF at the last round at Monza. Teammate Pascal Prudence, P7, Dylan Platt, P8, of course, won a race over the season. Joseph Hurley, P9 for Red Arrow Racing alongside Adrian Faber in the Hyperion, then Shannon Stoffmill, TTF, and Stephen Alexo in the second Super Venturi. David Wasserman, P13 in the first of the Mode Auto concepts, ahead of Owen Phil Haugsvik in the second Royal Blue. Second Mode Auto for Fabian Bayer is next, P15, alongside Silver Joffer in P16. Persis Miran, P17, TR Geese Energy alongside the second Hyperion and Mateusz Kozowski. Then Baigoros, Dorengi and Luke Gray in P19 and P20. And then Tom Vandervoort and Fabian Scherchik at the back. Good penalties for both. And yeah, that concludes the grid. 22 cars on the grid for the Singapore Superlights race. I'm just checking to see if Menno's back yet. I'm guessing not.
I am back. Yeah.
There we are. Well, yeah, what are you expecting from the race then, Menno?
Yeah, well, hopefully a microphone that keeps working for the duration of this race. I think it will be a very intense race. I think a lot of pressure on the drivers. This is really a roller coaster. So many corners that you just get a bit, maybe light in the head for those 50 laps they need to drive. So I expect lots of tire wear, quite a bit of drama, but also very good racing. And let's actually see, who has got the best strategy, because, do you want to push at the beginning too much so that you, lose a bit of tire life, or maybe, will you save more to have better in the end? So that's interesting, what we all will see. Let's see how Simon Frelick will do, because, he needs to score big now to, do well in the championship, but we shall see.
Yeah, so coming back to the grid then, Frelick, as you said, second in the championship at the moment. So close between top three. Maguire, Frelick, Grankvist, all separated by 8 points and all in the top four on the grid. Dylan Platt also on the medium tyres in the top 10, so good qualifying from Dylan Platt. It'll be interesting to see at what stage the soft tyres you want to be on. Do you want to be them on them at the end, but then have them wearing off? Do you want to get them out of the way early on? We're all lined up on the grid. 4 rounds to go. The championship is boiling down. 2, 3 drivers. They're all on the grid. The lights are about to come on. Let's get going for the Singapore Superlights. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lights are all on, and we're away and racing. It's a slow start from Mitchell already. The THRs are swarming past. I think Butcher might even take third at the moment, so no change at the front. There go the THRs, and now there, look at that, THR up the inside of Super Venturi into P2. That is Butcher with an absolute flyer from fifth on the grid. Frelick has bolted, and now second goes Grankvist again. Butcher almost loses it underpowered. Butcher followed by Maguire. Poland's up to P5, so Mitchell off from P3 to P6. Singh 7, Herlock 8, Faber 9, and Platt down to 10. as Butcher has a look up the inside, still can't get through. As Grandfist holds on. Messi behind, oh, and Grandfist almost in the wall. Actually, that is a gift for Butcher, so almost in the wall for Grandfist. Did well to keep it out, but Frelick is taken off like a whippet.
Yeah, this is what Frelick needs, and he already jumped away. And I think Butcher, who's not in, of course, in championship contention, will be a bit of a buffer, but also, of course, will help his teammates. So, yeah, Grandfist not actually that bad of a start, but I think a slight wiggle made him lose the position to Butcher, and I lost already a lot of ground to PD1. So I think, yeah, great for Simon now. And I believe everybody's still driving. Quite a clean first lap, so it's very good to see with this 22 driver field.
Yeah, not surprised then to see Maguire having to hold off those behind him, Polenz that is, in the Road Formula Racing. He is on the medium tyres, of course, Maguire. So the softer tyre giving a bit more grip on the first lap as Maguire there just slightly disconnected off the back of Jan Grandfist. Same with Platt actually. Platt lost 2 places down to P10 from P8 on the grid. Herlock and Faber going past. But they will come good towards the latter stage of this race. You imagine they'd go hard after this if they 2-stop and maybe even a 3-stop, depending on how these tyres hold up. We are expecting an attritional degradation for all of these tyres. So Maguire there, look, just starting to drift off the back of Grandfist. Got to keep in that DRS, otherwise he'll plummet. Grandfist still P3, still in touch with Chris Butcher, who will be the first really to try and pull him along. And really, that's a key for THR, because they've got a split strategy between the 2 drivers and they're both in the top 4.
Yeah, well, I see Diagoro Storengi losing 2-3 positions in one corner, just at a bad exit, and yeah, he's struggling a bit. So yeah, I think they are fighting really hard, and yeah, even for P20 it's hard fighting. You just want to make up ground if you can, but yeah, you don't want to wear the tires too much in this, yeah, in these conditions. So yeah, quite interesting. Now we've got Luca Gray P22. But he doesn't look, yeah, that slow, and he's gone the harder tire, so maybe he thinks longer term great.
Yeah.
So.
Meanwhile, Maguire's under attack from Polenz in to come down towards the grandstand section. So Maguire really under the cosh now on these medium tyres. But again, this is a long burn for Maguire. He's got to hold on here and not get too frustrated and burn his own tyres up. You know, focus on his own race. A beautiful looking livery by there on the Road Formula Racing car, by the way.
Yeah, that is actually a very good looking car. I think it was updated. Looks very good. Yeah, but for Luke Maguire, it's now survive. He will be out of the DRS zone, I think. But yeah, his plan was the medium tire, so let's see if he can, yeah, do it better in the end. I think that was the idea, to have a bit of a difference than for the top 3, but maybe in the second part, the last part of the race, maybe strike with maybe a faster tire. So as long as Luke has P4, I think that's his aim for now. If he has got P4 before the stop and after the stop, I think then he can build maybe with better tires.
Yeah, as we see Luke Mitchell running wide, so struggling in that drag after a stunning qualifying, just starting to drop off the back of Pascal Polenz in front, and like I said, running wide a little bit there, into the old sling they go. No chicane there anymore, of course, as Mitchell holds on to P6, and Singro trying to get through, and you know, bitterly disappointed after the incident last time out with Sandeep Singh, but no, we know he comes good towards the end of the races. Let's see what he can do, you know, but starting on the soft tyre, of course.
Yeah, well, Pascal Polenz gets closer and closer on the back of Luke Maguire, but still can't pass. And I believe he will have DRS soon, and let's see if that will change something in the order of the drivers. It's also very good to see Adrian Faber in P9. This is for Imperial Racing Team, and I believe they didn't score, well, huge points, so this could be a race for them to remember. So let's see what Adrian can do.
Yeah, so we see Patrick Rozak on the halo there, but obviously Rozak missing out this time, so Faber in at Hyperion, and as you said, doing a great job up in P9. So, going to start developing a bit of DRS training at the moment. Frelick 3 seconds ahead of Chris Butcher as it stands. So Frelick P1, Butcher P2, 3 seconds down, then Grandfist about 1.2 down on Butcher, not in DRS range. So Maguire on the medium tyres, 1.7 down on Grandfist, not in DRS range. Then Poland's will be feisty as we look back at Fabian Šurček, who started on the soft tyres despite starting last. He's trying to fight his way through up to P19 so far. A lot of drivers on the harder tyres down the back of the field, including Tom van der Bot, who started just ahead of Šurček actually. They have got Phil Hausvik as well, just in front, as Poland's using all of the track and a bit more, trying to close up to Luke Maguire. Of course, DRS now out of turn 13, down into turn 14. One of probably 2 or 3 overtaking positions on the track, but the traction's got to be oh so good, and already you just wonder whether those soft tyres are starting to cry under traction.
Yeah, I must say I am deeply impressed with the first few laps of Simon Frelick. He just looks like a fish in the water at this track. He plants his car at nearly perfect at every apex, and this is what he needs with 4 rounds to go. He was the championship leader, of course, with all the drama the last couple of Grand Prix. He lost out, and now he's, I believe, P2 in the championship. But this is his moment. He needs to do well at this track, at least outscore his rivals to still be in it. Of course, you can even lose more points and still be in it, but this is a track this is Simon's track, at least I believe so from the history, and the way he now walks away with it is impressive. But the question is, with what tire management does he do? Is he going all out now and does a early stop, or is he even managing the tires? So that will be the question. Maybe we'll see that when he pits, if that's early or late.
As you're rightly saying, man, a winner here previously in GPVWC, and again showing great form, but a long way to go yet. Lap 5 of 50, so only a tenth of the way through. Plenty of time to go in this race as they come over the bridge into turn 13, tight through the hairpin. Poland's just can't get close enough in the critical part of the lap, and now I just wonder whether the Maguire's tyres are starting to come in to their own a little bit, less clingy on, more attacky. And the THR's looking good, I think. Two cars up there, both on split strategies. You fancy at least one of them to be right, you would imagine, and the power of Maguire to be able to qualify so high up on those mediums is a big bonus. He's done it all season long, and there's no wonder why he's in the championship fight. Just a reminder, 164 points for Luke Maguire in the top of the championship. Frelick 158, Ewan Gale 156.
I think what you see now is that the softer tyres will hit their first small cliff, or maybe a few tenths, and because Luke is on the medium tyre, the yellow tyre, so that's the not the softest but the second softest. He doesn't have that speed that the red tyres give, but he doesn't have the small first drop.
Yeah,
that's why.
As you say that, Sandeep Singh's just come into pits to get rid of those red soft tyres, and he's straight onto a set of hards by the looks of it. Look white on the side to me. So Sandeep Singh getting rid early and switching to hard tyres. So it's almost like an IndyCar race, isn't it, with the stick of reds and the stick of black?
Yes. I also see Silver Joffert in the pits. So Silver Joffert without a rear wing. So I believe sector 3 he hit the wall there, and I believe it's just after when you go underneath the grandstand.
Fabian Šurček dropped to the back as well, so unless he must have had an issue.
He pitted. He already pitted as well. Oh, we've got a crash. Joseph Hurlock is crashed, and it's at the bridge, and he is out. Joseph Hurlock is out, so that's problem for the Red Arrow Racing team. So
I just wonder whether he's come through turn 10 and hit the inside of the turn 12 wall. That's the common crash over the bridge, isn't it? So that's a shame for Hurlock. Up in the top 10 for Red Arrow, not anymore. He's not. That promotes then Senna Stoffmill and Stephen Lexo into top 10 as Butcher pits. Butcher, Poland's plenty of pit stops in. So what have we done? 6? There's going to be a lot of pit stops in this race. Butcher in the TSR.
I am very surprised that it's this early. But yeah, I think they all know what they're doing, so this might be the best strategy. But will they get in traffic? So Chris Butcher might be in a bit of traffic. Yeah, I think he will hit traffic with Buzowski. Poland and Singh will be very close, but yeah, Singh is past Poland, so I think that was a bit of teamwork. So Sandeep Singh and Pascal Pollens have got free air. Well, they only got themselves, so very...
I'll tell you
very...
who hasn't got free air is Dylan Platt, who's right off the back of Adrian Faber. I think Faber's actually got through, hasn't he? So Faber up into P5 with all the pit stops, and Platt now all over the back of him, and with him is Senna Stoffner, who's shown great pace in the TTF and started on the hard tyres. And yeah, they've started to fall back a bit off Luke Mitchell now, actually. So these are at the bottom of the top 10 realistically when you take into account the pit stops that have already happened, but really close action going on. Faber just hanging on in front of the TR Geeks Energy car.
Yeah. And you just see, let's say, Luke and also Dylan Platt, who are on the yellow tires, and also Senna Stoffner, so they will go longer. Let's see, we'll see what Frelick do. Will he go for a pits? Yeah, he will go for a pit stop. But that already shows that he's got one lap over the other drivers. So Jan Grankvist goes on, and he nearly lost it there.
Yeah, look at this. Look at the speed of the medium tyres straight in. I know he had a mistake, but that was pretty easy for Maguire. So Maguire goes straight through then, past Grankvist and into the net lead, of course, because we just saw Frelick pit. Now, Frelick is interesting to note. We don't know whether Frelick had better tyres or whether he's just pitted because everyone else has. That's something to look at through the rest of the race. He had a nice gap Frelick after a good start. Has he just pitted to cover people off, or was that genuinely the end of his tyres? Because if he's got better tyres than everyone else, that could play out nicely. And look, he has come out just in front of Butcher, who's starting to undercut him.
I think it was because of track position. You want to have track position at this track because overtaking is very difficult. They are all switching to the harder tires, so that shows that they do believe that the harder tire is, can go long, but also provides a lot of grip. Now it will be very interesting what Luke Maguire can do. Can he lap faster now than Simon Frelick, or will it be slow?
Is struggling so much. Tires wiggling, screaming out of turn 13 across the bridge. Really, really struggling. And also, crucially, we just saw, as you were talking, Chris Butcher getting past Perseus Miriam, who obviously hasn't pitted yet. So he's now got nobody between himself and Frelick, and he can start a charge. So Grankvist, just hanging on for dear life, needs to pit, really. He's losing too much time.
Yeah, well, he's losing seconds.
Oh my lord, look how squiggly it is.
Yeah, he's losing seconds, already 1.5 seconds in the second sector only. He will, I think, lose more than just a position, so he will pit. But this is one lap too late, and I think he will lose out massively.
I've seen Sebastian Loeb left sideways. It's incredible. Yeah. Great car control from Grankvist in the end.
Yeah, of course.
But watch how much time he's going to lose compared to Frelick, compared to Butcher. Remember, he was with these guys at the start, about 2 seconds, 3 seconds off the lead.
Let's see where he comes out. Will he be behind Singh? He will be behind Singh and Pollens. And I think even behind Krill Hausvik. I think just in front of Krill Hausvik. Yeah. But he lost quite a bit of time, so comes out of the pits in P12. So that's kind of
Yeah, crucially though, as you're right. Crucially, he's ahead of Krill Hausvik, and now he can chase Poland. But look at that, both road to Formula cars passed, and a long way down off Butcher. Now, of course, that does play back into his hands later on when he's got fresher tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix. Towards the end of the race, that he can burn, use, set faster times, etc., pull his way back in. But you've got to think that was, as you said, a lap too far. I mean, he was really hanging on to it. Back to the THR, and Chris Butcher is absolutely flying. He's caught up to Simon Frelick now. Gap was 3 seconds before the pit stops. Pitting that lap or two earlier has really put him back into contention. And if he can be a pest for Frelick, then Luke Maguire on the medium tyres out in front will be absolutely loving it with a bit of team players. Pollens
he's got
to get
more
past
damage.
Miriam, I think.
we've got damage. Luca Gray has got a car which is broken, so he lost the rear wing on that car. So let's see what will happen. Now you see people making the mistakes. I think the mistakes they make, they not even are that hard, but yeah, they lose out massively. So Luca Gray is limping back to the pits.
Yeah,
Tom van der Voort also lost. Tom van der Voort also lost his front wing, so we've got a bit of drama now. And I think is there debris on track, because Tom van der Voort now lost his front wing as well. And I know Tom van der Voort, he's very neat in his driving, so something must have happened there, debris or of a kind.
Yeah,
so
meanwhile, Frelick and Butcher making their way through then the top 10. Now Bala is the next to lose out, hasn't stopped on those hard tyres, and Butcher and Frelick really find their way through. But Frelick, very lucky so far, picking up the DRS from those yet to stop. Who they're going to catch next is Fasserman up the road. So Butcher really just keeping Frelick honest. Fasserman P5 at the moment. So Fasserman, Stockmill P4, Lexo P3, Dylan Platt P2, Luke Maguire P1, all yet to make their first pit stop, starting on harder tyres than the soft.
Yeah, we've got more people with damage. Miram's got damage, and let's see. Yeah, Luca Gray is now coming to the pits, and Tom van der Voort as well. So we've got multiple people with problems, and I think it are all just, yeah, it seems they run out of over a bit of debris. So yeah, they're all not out of it, but they lost a lot of time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's the type of race.
Luke Maguire in pits.
It's the type of race that people just have to finish and they'll get points. We've seen it before in Baku, as you rightly say. Maguire in the pits. So only
Maguire.
5 laps left. Oh,
Maguire.
Butcher in the wall.
Yeah, Butcher in the wall.
Butcher's in the wall. Lost his front wing. He's got to do the whole lap without the front wing then. So Butcher, drama for THR. You said Maguire missed the pit stop, and at the same time Butcher's in the wall. Disaster for THR.
Yes, and there was a big problem for Maguire as well. So Maguire missed his grid slot or pit slot and needed to go backwards. And now look, Maguire is behind Jan Grankvist. So drama there, but even bigger drama for Chris Butcher, who lost his front wing. And now, yeah, he knows that there is no grip without a front wing. This is the worst track to not have a front wing. So Chris Butcher needs to limp home. And now for some drivers who are longer on already, they are now, they can get really good positions now.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's not many tracks I'd like to have no front wing on, in fairness. And look, this is all sorts of chaos going on here. I think that's Van der Voort trying to get out of the way as he goes a lap down after his earlier problems, and Butcher's just getting swapped now. Maguire's there, that's Polenz, and Grankvist, and Maguire's trying to get past Grankvist.
Maguire wants to send one on Grankvist, and he does it. Oh, they hate each other. Young Grankvist is still there, but there's Luke. Luke will overtake him or not? Yes. No. Yes. He takes him.
So Maguire there, in past Grankvist. To see if he comes back into the pits. I wonder if maybe there was a penalty, or was it just a mistake and he missed his pit stop? So missed his garage. Anyway, Maguire flying back through now, and trying to set the precedent for where he was. He's actually, in the grand scheme of things, not a million miles away from where he would have been anyway. If you give the undercut the superiority that we think it's had, he'll find his way back with the fresher tyres there. So Butcher has made it to the pit stop.
Luca Gray blew up his engine. Luca Gray in P20 now blew up his engine. He is out of the race. Luca Gray, at least I see a lot of fire. A lot of fire from Luca Gray. And he is standing, where is he standing? I believe at the end of sector 2 for Luca Gray.
So Stockmill's still in the pits though, so it's a long pit lane of course, Butcher's still in the pits as well, plenty of damage to repair. So, but we are on board with Maguire into turn 10, trying to find a way past Polenz, who's dropped off the back of teammate Sandy Ching a little bit. Over the bridge, then DRS after this corner. What sort of pace has Maguire got over Polenz? Polenz on the first to pit as well, of course. So Polenz then Singh, and we still got plenty of people. So the front five, other than Frelick, who's in P3, yet to pit so far. Really interesting to see where they filter out.
And I would say
the race.
I would say the top two, Dylan Platt and Steve Alexo, are in a good position. Actually, Dylan is now pitting, so there was a lot of things going on, but Dylan missed that all, and I think he didn't lose any time because of the problems of others. So maybe he can actually having a very good race. Let's see if that actually pays out later in the race, because he will drop a few positions.
Interesting to see then. We've been on board with a few people so far, and overtaking hasn't looked easy. We've only really seen overtaking when there's been a problem for others, whether they've had a bit of traction issues at the corner. So usually we see in Superlights that you do need some sort of tyre delta to make a move, and at the moment, because the pit stops have all been so close together and the field is still relatively close together, not quite getting the moves that we get as Singh goes past Bassaman. Oh no, it wasn't. I apologise, that was a car getting out of the way. It was Ballard actually. Ballard down to P5. I do apologise. Yeah, he did go wide at the end of the straight. Singh moves his way into P4.
Yeah.
Oh, and Ballard spins actually. Ballard spins into the wall, loses part of his front wing, if not all of his front wing. Now he's going to try and keep out the way. So shame for Ballard at the end of his first stint then. And he'll plummet down, and that'll be all the hard work that he's done so far to eke those tyres out. Gone, and that's what?
Oh, there's another car dropping. It's Poland's. Okay, we hear that it might be the in-game track cut system, which asked them to.
Yes, that's Maguire. Yeah, so Maguire had to give up the place to Grangfish, but also Poland's dropped, didn't he? But the problem is because they'd all bunched behind Bala, who'd had the issue at turn 12, or just at turn 10 and turn 11, that it cost people probably a bit more than they would have needed to. So Singh now up into P3 because Lexo's pitted.
Yeah, so but where does Lexo come out in terms of Dylan Platt? Dylan Platt is still behind. It will be very close. I think Dylan Platt just overtakes Steve Alexlo, and he does. So Steve Alexlo has got slotted in behind Dylan Platt, but of course he's got fresher tires. And now Sander Stockmill tries to stand one on Steve Alexlo, and he manages because his tires are, I think, more on working temperature. So Sander Stockmill moves up. So it's now Dylan Platt P9, Sander Stockmill P10, and Steve Alexlo P11.
Yeah, that can still change though, because Bassaman still hasn't pitted incredibly, doing a fantastic job on his first stint for Moto Auto Concept. Frelick back to the lead then, now that that's all cycled through. Sandeep Singh though hit them early up to a net P2 for us to form a race, and Jan Grankvist P3 net before on the road of the stand. That's despite going a little too long in his first stint and being all over his place like a fucking Bronco. Luke Maguire's back up to 5th, Luke Mitchell P6, Val P5 eventually, Poland's P7, Faber P8, Platt P9 as you mentioned, just pitting, and Stoffmill P10. Exo will eventually rise into the top 10. Plenty of drama already though. DNFs already 3, Luca Gray, Fabian Sherchik and Joseph Phillip.
Yeah, and of course David Wasserman still needs to pit. So then we look at the gap between Simon Frelick and Sandeep Singh, and it's 8 seconds. 8 seconds from Sandeep to Simon Frelick. And then Jan Grankvist lost out because of his, one lap too long. Luke Maguire lost out because he needed to lift. I think everybody lost out, of course. We've got Chris Butcher who lost his front wing. So a lot of people lost out, except, we've got a spinner in P3, David Wasserman spun. So yeah, he needs to stand there. It's an awful position and an awful angle to stand there, because he can't see when he can go. And now he can go, and he loses a lot of time and still needs to pit. So another victim from this track. You think, is this track so hard? Yes, it is. This is a horrible track to be on the limit on, and that's what they all find out some of them make just so small mistakes, and they pay the price for it. So
There we go, on board with Wasserman, and exactly the same mistake as teammate Fabian Ballard made a few laps ago, just a different corner oversteer on entry. Lost it quite early actually, but fair play to David Wasserman, fantastic job, staying out of the way, not rushing, not ruining anyone else's race, getting back in the race, and still in the top 15. I know he's got pit stops to make, but there's so long to go in this race. There's still points on the table for Wasserman.
yes.
Back out front to Frelick then, who, between everything that's gone on, despite having Chris Butcher lurking on his rear wing, the mistake by Butcher's allowed him to have an 8-second lead over Sandeep Singh. 8.2 seconds now as they go over the line. So a beautiful lead for Shimon Frelick. We said earlier, Menno, that he's got history here in Singapore and he's doing a fantastic job. Meanwhile, Luke Maguire back onto the rear wing of Jan Grankvist. Championship contenders doing battle. Frelick's almost gone so far off the road, he's not worth worrying about. This now is for the best of the rest. They've got to sort each other out. They've got to get up to Sandeep Singh.
Yeah, but the race still is quite long, so there's still more work in. Well, we've got David Wasserman now into the pits. So yeah, just lost the grip a lap ago, and let's see where will he come out, because he will lose quite a bit of time. Goes to another set of hard tires, so he needs to pit again to for another set of tires. And he will just slot in behind his teammate, but just in front of Chris Butcher. So Chris Butcher 14, David Wasserman, or David Wasserman P13, Fabian Ballet in P12.
Yellow's out. That will happen all the way through. Now Butcher we are looking at on screen behind the two mode also concepts, both with fresh-ish tyres. So a lot of work to do for Butcher now to get any sort of decent points result out of this, but he was looking like one of the fastest, if not the fastest, out on there. So hope yet, but not good for THR. By the way, THR in the point standings shouldn't be too bad off, because they did have a 36-point advantage over Royal Blue Racing. They were on 300 points, Royal Blue on 264. And it's really those two in the hunt for the Constructors' Championship, or the Teams' Championship, over the last 4 races.
Well, it gets really, really close, and we've got another yellow flag in the final sector, and that is Tom van der Voort, who's standing still, and I think he will retire. Maybe he will try to get back. Well, Maguire can't pass Jan Grankvist for P3, but this will be a good fight.
Yeah, they've been nose to tail for 3 laps now. Just can't find his way through. But I think we are expecting a tyre delta. Now the problem is I don't know whether, you know, we're expecting 2, probably 3 stops away the tyres of the grade. I don't know whether because there's so many stops we're not going to get that much variance in the tyre life, which means that we might struggle to see as much overtaking as maybe we would like to, but there's still hope. Maguire though has been, if anything, is getting further behind Grankvist. Now I wonder whether he's just trying to cool those tyres off, hit his targets. He went longer on the first stint, so he'll probably have a bit more tyre life at the end of this stint to try and push on. Having said that, the undercuts looked pretty strong so far. Pit stop time for Tom van der Voort, for Staurengi as well, who have both already had issues, and we saw the yellow flags out earlier, so I wonder if that's got something to do with it, as well as Maguire just trying to find a different line, if anything, to try and close up to the back of Grankvist and have a go. DRS across the line, of course. DRS out of turn 4 and DRS out of turn 13 as well. Grankvist slightly wide through turn 1 there, trying to fend off Maguire. We've got yellows already in sector 1. Interesting to see what that is, but look, Maguire just can't follow Grankvist close enough through the corner there onto the DRS zone straight, and that really is costing him any chance of getting through at the end of the straight. Yeah,
it was the Agoro Sarengi who DNF'd after driving out of the pits. So he parked the car and
That's Platt past Faber. That's Platt past Faber for P7. So Faber down to P8 for Hyperion. Platt got his way through and doing a fine job, Dylan Platt, on the alternate strategy from the start, and now Shannon Stoffmill in the TTF all over the back of Faber, and also lurking Stephen Lexo as well in the second Super Venturi.
Yeah, and so now it will be interesting because if this race is so long, is that you need to keep up your focus the whole race, the whole 50 laps, and that is pretty difficult. You can be having a good focus for 20-25 laps, but afterwards you need to stay in that rhythm, and that's something we will see now. So I do think we might see a bit more drama, but we shall see.
Sandeep Singh pitted earlier than anybody else on those hard tyres. He's currently the fastest man on track. He did a 140, he's just actually put in a new lap time that's slightly slow, but he's in a 142s a lap before, comfortably faster than anyone else had been at that time, and he's closed into about 7 seconds away from Shimon Frelick. So that gap coming down between those two, then Jan Granqvist another about 3.5 seconds back off Sandeep Singh in P3. Luke Maguire, this is the battle you're watching now, P4, and right with Granqvist, but just cannot follow through the corners at the moment. A bit of dirty air maybe affecting the THR. P5 Pascal Polenz ahead of Luke Mitchell, who fell from 3rd to 6th at the start, but managed to regather himself and cement that position. Dylan Platt then is in this battle, so he had got past Adrian Faber, and he's gone up the road, and now Faber's got a bit of a train behind him. That's Senna Stoffmill in the TTF. Then you've got Stephen Lexo in the Super Venturi, and Fabian Baller, who is recovering from losing the front wing at the end of his first stint. He's on an alternate strategy as well. So these four all fighting for position as Baller gets a bit out of shape behind. Did well to keep it out of the wall. Behind them then Phil Hougsvik, P12, actually just overtaken by the second mode also concept of Wasserman and Butcher as well, also through into P13, trying to recover from his mistake earlier as Platt goes past Luke Mitchell from P6.
Yeah, so I'm actually looking how fast is Sandeep now. I think he is gaining a bit, maybe not this lap. So still a stable lead for Simon Frelick. P3 still for Jan Granqvist, but Luke Maguire actually gets closer and closer. So let's see if they can he can overtake soon. He is quite close. Will he have to drive out of this corner? I think his drive was pretty good, but I think he is too far away for an overtake. Unless he's taking a lot of extra power. But no, he can't pass for now, so Luke Maguire stays P4. Pascal Polenz P5. Let's see if we got any other fights. Yeah, Senna Stoffmill is trying his hardest to get past Adrian Faber, but Adrian Faber is doing a decent job, and this train is getting, what to say, quite big. But of course, the fourth car is Tom van der Voort, and he's a lap down, so he's not in this fight. But yeah, Stephen Lexo and Senna Stoffmill are hunting the man from Poland. But yeah, he's got the experience, so let's see what Adrian can do and how long he can hold.
Yeah, they've all pitted roughly similar times as well, so Stoffmill really finding a bit of pace. Maybe Faber just not enjoying this set of tyres as much as he was on the first stint. He was on softer, wasn't he, at the start? So a big change of compound. Back to the front then, Singh starting to drop back from Frelick again. Frelick 1.3.1, 3.3, and as you say, Singh into the pit. So a little later on, those set of tyres are now.
Oh, Maguire pits as well.
Yeah, as expected.
And Polenz as well. Oh, a double stack from Team Road to Formula. Will that go right for them?
Yeah, big enough gap, wasn't it?
Oh, that is amazing, this double stop.
Yeah, so it was a big enough gap. It was good work for them, and Luke Maguire probably just wanted a bit of free air and to undercut Granqvist, I imagine, get that place done because it wasn't happening on track. Also in Faber, who we saw was starting to struggle with Mitchell as well in the pits. So Maguire now, if he can do a qualifying lap and get ahead of Jan Grankvist, that will work out perfectly for them. What will Grankvist do? I mean, if you're Frelick, you just pit and cover it off. You've got a big enough lead. What do you do if you're Jan Grankvist is the question.
Yeah, I think he already knows that he might have lost his position because I think can Jan be as fast as Luke while Luke is on fresh tires, or did he already lose out? So we shall see if he tries to cover it. But yeah, it seems to me that that one lap Luke now has on fresh tires, he might virtually overtake Jan. So we shall see. Maybe Jan is now giving it all and is actually producing decent times. I can look. But let's see if he actually goes for it. While Seymour Frelick goes to the pit, so leader goes to the pit.
Yeah, that's understandable. He had a big gap. He may as well just copy everyone else. I'm sure he's had that in his years. Grankvist is a interesting question because he's done 39. He does pit.
Is pitching as well.
He had to pit. Look at Maguire, 38.8 in the middle sector, 39.9 for Grankvist. Is a second alone in that. So Grankvist will lose position, no doubt about it. It's whether Pascal Polenz can put in a storming final sector and put Grankvist under a bit of pressure from behind as well.
So Sandeep overtakes Jan. But where is Luke Maguire? Luke Maguire overtakes Jan Grankvist with quite a margin. So
yeah, watch Polenz coming around the first corner as well. He'll be pretty close. Oh, there's someone in the wall. I'm sure there's someone in the wall there. There you go.
There.
He's out of there. He's out of there. And Polenz didn't get anywhere near after all. So Grankvist into clear air, but has little Thunderbolt out again, and that will probably be the end of his race. I'd imagine another track win gone. But as we were saying, Grankvist clean air, but a long way behind Maguire. Look how much of a gap Maguire had hitting one lap before. Undercut's massive, you know, so this is all about strategy to end the race. Lap 22 of 50. Frelick, net leader, but at the moment still in Platt, who is yet to make his second stop.
Yeah, so you see the alternative strategy is actually working decently for Dylan Platt. So yeah, let's see how he will, if he will be there at the end. But not too strange of a strategy, I would say. Just try something different. But Shimon, yeah, looks quite fast. And let's see, Luke Maguire gained a lot of time, and he actually is pretty close to Sandeep Singh, so I'm not sure what happened there, but that pit stop of the GHR team was pretty rapid, because not only he jumped away from Jan Grankvist, he's also pretty close to Sandeep Singh now.
Yeah, he is. Lexo doing a nice job still with Senna Stoffmill as well, so these guys also get to pit. And yeah, seeing Maguire, I mean, Maguire's flying it. Look how much more confidence Stephen Lexo's got on the brakes in that Super Venturi. That was incredible how he closed up. But of course, he loses then on the traction zone after he's gone steaming into the corner. Behind them, you probably had a glimpse. That was the road to Formula of Sandeep Singh. And all of a sudden, there's a THR right on his back as well. These are about, give it 7 seconds down on Shimon Frelick. So Frelick still with a comfortable lead. It's just what can Luke Maguire do in the last 27 laps of the race after this one. Lexo still hunting to find a way past the TTF. Butcher back in the pits, so obviously he's off sequence, having had his error, but he's back in the pits, so he'll probably shuffle back in and around P10 by the end of the race, I'd imagine, with the pace he's got. The Haugsvik's also in the pits, so Butcher will probably rejoin about P13.
Oh, we're now watching the battle between Steven Lexo and Senna Stoffmail. So let's see. Yeah, Steven looks to be a bit faster, but of course this is a track where you cannot easily overtake. Say only 1 or 2 positions. Well, Senna had a lot of rear sliding, and again, so I think Senna is about to pit. Let's see if he actually will pit. Yes, he will pit. So you already saw tires are more or less done. So Senna is in the pits.
Yeah, and a good job by Senna Stockmill so far then. This time screen, I do think is taking a bit of time to catch up on the screen on the left hand side because there is no way Glitch has been in the pits for 1:21. He is in fact out on track in P13. I'll tell you where Senna Stockmill comes out in a moment. P10 for Stockmill, then ahead of Wasserman, behind Faber. So again, the undercut, proving king, and Faber back past Stockmill. At the moment then, Platt yet to pit for a second time, but leads from Shimon Frelick. He's the de facto race leader. And Stephen Lexo yet to pit third. Singh de facto second. Luke Maguire third, but fifth on the road. Then Granqvist, Pascal Poland, Luke Mitchell for Drake, Aidan Fiber for Hyperion Esports, and Senna Stockmill runs top 10 out for TTF. A reminder, Chris Butcher was all over the back of championship protagonist Shimon Frelick, who will be the race leader very shortly, and spun out the final corner to do a whole lap on with no front wing and lost a load of time.
Well, Ewan, I now throw something to you now. Steve Lex now is in P3. His teammate is in P6. Is Steven now more or less holding up the rest a bit, like Sandeep and Luke, so to make sure Jan can get close to that group? Or do you think?
Two ways of looking at it. Yes, absolutely. He's got no need to get out of the way. He's not actually doing anything untoward here. But the other thing is of course, he started on harder tyres, so he is off sequence with Sandeep Singh, for example, who started on soft tyres anyway. So expect Lexo to go a bit further as we hit the halfway point, 25 laps of 50. So expect Lexo to go a bit further, but probably not too far with those tyres, because otherwise he'll end up hurting his own race. He's in the top 10 himself, remember, so, and he was in a big fight with Faber, Stockmill and Mitchell, so I wouldn't expect him to do too much, and then look, there you go.
Oh! And they hit Sandeep. Sandeep hit Steven, but Steven's car looked a bit out of shape. Oh, and they hit each other, and Steven and Sandeep hit, and there goes Luke. Oh, Sandeep will not be happy with this.
No, he'll be fuming.
Is in there as well. Yeah, I must say Sandeep came from quite far, but that car of Steven didn't look like it was in great shape, accelerating out of the corner, and now he actually cost he cost Sandeep at least one place and quite a bit of damage. So
I was going to say, what damage has he got, because they hit the wall, didn't they? They both hit the wall, a bit of a tap on the right hand side, and no, Sandeep won't be happy with that. Another incident with another driver in the mid pack, again having a look in. This is where Lexo, is Lexo's on all the tyres. It's one for the DC to sort out, isn't it? Because Lexo on all the tyres, he's got to be able to defend for himself, but I was seeing far enough down the inside to warrant a bit more space, and especially they were definitely side by side when they eventually hit the wall together as well.
And he continues. So this is a strange thing, because I see Steven Lexo getting it wrong at all corners, and I think that's because of his tire life, but he's still continuing this lap. So he will hurt his teammate and Sandeep a lot of time in, I think, because now Luke can check out.
But if he can do another 4 laps, Menno, as Frelick makes a move past Dylan Platt for the lead on track, as whether or not Platt has a pit stop. If Lexo can go another 4 laps, he can probably get to the checker flag or one more stop. Singh again then, round the outside, Lexo struggling, holding on. This time doesn't understeer wide, and this time Singh's got it done. What will Lexo do with his teammate? Look at that, Singh just giving a bit of a shuffle wide as well. And he knows that Poland is behind as well, and that will return if all Poland doesn't go for it into the sling. So Singh ahead now, and that is Granqvist as well. So Granqvist all over the back of Singh. Look how much time this cost him.
Oh, and there comes Poland. Oh, what a move from Poland. German against German, but no, Steven Lexo has got the better traction, so it all goes about braking, and of course Steven got the inside, he's fighting for it, but no, Pascal has got better tyres. Now the tyres are done. So
just having a look at the gap that it's costing, is about 2.5 seconds down the road now from Maguire. So Maguire, plenty of clean air to set his sights on Shimon Frelick, that gap is down to about 6.5, 7 seconds. So the gap's eked down a little bit. At 142.4 on the last lap for Luke Maguire, 143.0 for Frelick, although there's a 142.6 now with the RS assistance, of course. This is Sandeep Singh then we're on board with. Just into, here we go.
Well,
so this is going to be the replay then of Singh going wheel to wheel with the Super Monturius in Lexo. So we're expecting Singh to go down the inside, aren't we? Late on, he does. It was a late move from Singh.
Yeah.
He gets actually a bit of oversteer, doesn't he? So we'll take it back from what you're saying about Lexo. This is where it's a bit more contentious because there really was. I think if Lexo on the inside is hitting the wall himself, then that's the bit that's debatable. But the first act that we thought was a bit of Lexo closing the door, actually it was Singh that was getting out of shape himself.
It was Singh. So Singh came from quite far, and he nearly got a stop. It was just that tiny look of like he couldn't control it, and that's where he slid into Lexo in the first place. So that's a bit of the risk you take, and suddenly lost a lot of time there.
So Lexo has pitted now. He's come out in P10. He's been sent a Stoffmill, of course, as we expected him to be. What will be interesting to see is where he comes out in relation to them, how far behind he will be. It will be a pretty big gap because they've been lapping in the mid 142s. He was lapping in the 143s and the low 143s as well. Chris Butcher, a 140.8 was his last lap. He's flying. He's up to P12 now and closing. Well, he's got 15 seconds up to David Vasserman at the moment, and Butcher just trying to hang on for everything he can. We've got Ballard DNF'd, Gazowski also DNF'd, and that'll put Van der Voort up into P16. 3 laps down, but we said earlier, Menno, didn't we, that if you finish this race, the likelihood is you will get points, and Van der Voort only needs one more retirement to get into the points.
Yes, and it's now Precious Miram who's in P15 and he wants that point. So it's would be very good to see if that's that would be possible for him. But to be fair, we still see Dylan Platt now driving in P2, and it seems to be he had the best part of his tires now done. But the alternative strategy might work for him in the end, because I think he only needs to pit once. I think all the others need to pit once, but maybe the way Dylan now is thinking to complete the race, it might be very good at the end. But we
starting to look like a 2-stop, isn't it, for Dylan Platt?
Yeah, for Dylan Platt, I think it looks like a 2-stop. I think for all the others, it's a 3-stop.
But he probably needs another lap or 2 at least, doesn't he?
Yeah.
To make it. So Platt trying to eke it out. I tell you what, if he can make that work, he'll be slower at the end of the race. So come under a lot of pressure from Maguire, Singer, Grandfish, but that could be a top 5 for Dylan Platt on that strategy.
Yeah, the thing is, as long as you have track position, there is quite a bit possible. So let's see how long Dylan will push it now. He's now still good in P2. And let's see where he is in 2 laps. If he in 2 laps still has got tire left and still is in P2, why wouldn't you continue for another lap and try to get it? Actually, look what his final or the last lap was. Yeah, he was quite a bit slower. He was 1.5 seconds slower, but it can still work if he does a pit stop less and keeps track position to Luke.
But if he's got a pit and everyone else has got a pit, he was in the battle with Luke Mitchell, Adrian Faber, Senna Stoffmill. Now you're looking at about a 20-second gap back down to them. So actually, he's got the time to burn by going a few laps longer if he's only a second slower than those guys. Stephen Lexo into 141.8 now in P10 for Super Monturi. Vasserman does pit now. That'll put Butcher into P11. Phil Hounsford to 141.2. A few laps ago. He's followed up with a 145.8, so not the consistency that he needs, but there is some pace in that car for him that's promising for the future. Young Grandfist then still in a Road to Formula sandwich. He's got Singh ahead with damage. We don't know what damage really, but carrying on, and then we've got Pascal Collins behind, and this is really going to be probably the battle Dylan Platt finds himself in if he is going on a 2-stop to win the race. These guys probably another 5-6 laps away from pitting onto the final tyre. Platt probably more like 1 or 2 laps.
Yeah, and I saw that car of Dylan Platt gets really sideways most of the time. So will he continue for another lap, or will he go in? No, he goes for another lap, and I think for his 2-stop that might be very important. 43.7 and 32.7 for Luke Maguire. So Luke Maguire closes in a full second. But now I think this might be the final lap on this set for Dylan. Now I want to see what happens next. Can Luke already pass Dylan here, or is he too far away? I think Dylan is trying everything to stay ahead now. If he can stay ahead, it might be vital for his chances on a very good position. Yeah, and Luke can't pass here, so Dylan is still in P2. And he's quite a bit slower. But Luke cannot just pass. And maybe this is the chance Sandeep and Jan waited for. A slower car in between Luke and Dylan. A slower car for Luke, which is Dylan. Oh, and yeah, Sandeep is closing quite a bit. Can Luke pass him? I don't think so. He will try everything. He will have got DRS here. Will he go for it? He will go for it inside. Luke knows he needs to go for it. Brakes late. And Luke passes for P2. So I do think Dylan will pit this lap, or will he continue for another lap?
What he might be able to do is piggyback off Luke Maguire, get a bit of DRS action, take some of the times off his...
Yeah, and I think his car is too slow on this set looks to be done. I think he will pit now, the way his car is reacting, and I think he will pit now, or will he go another lap? He will go another lap, so he takes the pain, he takes it now to not have the pain later, so that's the strategy he is now playing at.
And again, you know, as I said earlier, the fight he was in was 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Mitchell favours Stockmill. He's got such a big buffer over those guys. He can afford to bleed these times away. And
Tom Vandervoort is out. Tom Vandervoort is out of the race. So, unfortunately, the damage was terminal, and he's out. That means everybody who finishes the race now scores points. So, Purchase Miram, if he finishes the race, he will score points.
It's a mental battle, isn't it? That's 31 of 50. Let's recap through the top 10. Simon Frelick leading from the start, pretty much dominant, great first lap, and he hasn't been seen since, apart from when Chris Butcher was all over him. We'll get to him in a moment. Luke Maguire P2, Dylan Platt P3, and on a very different strategy to anyone else. Sandeep Singh P4, Granthis P5, Polands P6, Mitchell P7, Failer P8, Stockmill P9, and Stephen Lexo P10. Controversial moments with Lexo and Sandeep Singh earlier on as well. Vasserman P11, Butcher, I believe, just pitted to go back behind the Mode Auto concept car. Butcher was the closest challenger to Shimon Frelick, having bolted from P5 to P2 on the first lap, but crashed at the final corner, lost his front wing, had to do a full lap and came back to the pits, lost a load of time. Owen Phil Hougsvik P13,
and I do expect
Joffa P14, and Miram last of the runners.
And Dylan will go to the pits now, surely. Yeah, there he goes. So he stretched it quite long and quite important for Dylan. He now enters the pits in P6, but yeah, he now doesn't need to stop after this pit stop, and I think all the others need to make a pit stop. So Dylan might be very lucky in the end. Where will he go to? I think another set of hearts. Yes, this is confirmed. Where will he come out? He will come out, I think, just in front of Stephen Lexo. Yes, confirmed. No! He made a mistake and now Stephen is ahead. No, he isn't. Stephen is there. Oh, Dylan just takes P9. So what happened is that there is, the inside wall in Dylan clipped the inside wall at the pit exit, so he nearly lost the car, but yeah, still it's fine, and he's in P9 and Stephen is in P10. So with his current tire life nearly at 100%, Dylan can go to the end, so it will be interesting to see what he can do in the end of the race.
Yeah, I can't see anyone else getting to the end of the race without the pit stop. Butcher just pitted, he'll go to the end of the race. Other than that, I imagine everyone else will file into the pits at some point. It's just when do they do it? If you look Maguire, I think about doing it now. Because otherwise you're going to have Dylan Platt streaming back past you, aren't you? On an undercut. You've got to get in now and cover that off if you're Luke Maguire in the THR. Or do you just stick to your own thing? I think, he's going to carry on, but I think I'll put Dylan Platt back ahead of him. I really do.
Yeah, Luke is now watching what Shimon is doing.
Yeah, but you may as well, if you're going to do that, you may as well come in and get an undercut. I mean, I guess this is why I'm commentating on it and not driving in it and not race engineering. So that's a fair point. But I just feel like everything we've seen in this race so far, I would have been pitting if I was at Maguire and THR. We'll see how that plays out towards the end of the race. Dylan Platt is the real interesting player now in terms of a podium.
And Chris Butcher lost his front wing. So another drama for Chris Butcher. Another front wing change, yes, in this car. It doesn't turn without a front wing, we know that. So another time lost for Chris Butcher, which is a shame.
Should get out P13 behind Phil Houtsmith though, shouldn't he? Ahead of Joffre, who is, 40 seconds down the road, so should be plenty of time for Butcher to get in. So Maguire then, pushing, doing 142.5. We need to keep an eye on what Dylan Platt's doing. Personal best in the first sector. And his personal best lap times are 142.4.
Oh, and Quill Housevik also lost his front wing. So Quill Housevik lost it as well, so he needs to pit as well. So there's no time loss or no position loss for Butcher, I think. It's only a lot of time gained for Silver Joffert on the two guys in front.
Yeah, so as I was saying, Dylan Platt really now is flying, and this could be crucial in the championship because at the moment, Maguire's P2 will keep the championship lead from Relic, who's 6 points behind in the championship. But actually, no, it might be close actually between the two of them. Anyway, that will get worse for Maguire if Platt keeps flying as he is. Another personal best in the middle sector, 39.1. He's 6 tenths up. He's about 8 tenths up in the first two sectors alone. Is Dylan Platt on with Maguire. So Platt will come out. Well, so if Maguire pits again, if they all pit again as we expect them to, because we think Platt might be marginal on the end of the race if he keeps showing this pace. Obviously, if your road's coming down, as Faber does pit, so this is the pit stop starting to happen. Dylan Platt's going to be ahead of Maguire. Dylan Platt's going to be net P2, isn't he?
Yeah, it looks like it. So I think what they might. Yeah. I think that what they want to try is maybe push longer with Luke, and maybe instead of a hard set, they want to go for maybe a medium tire to produce more grip.
It last though. It wasn't spectacular on the mediums at the start of the race, was it, Menno? You know, so this is the two TTFs now together. Center Stoffmill. We've got a back marker in there as well, and it's Joffre. Who's a lap down, so he'll hold Platt up a little bit, which is not ideal for him. Now he gets out of the way so Platt can advance. Platt, by the way, last lap was at 141.824. That was 1.1 seconds faster than Luke Maguire. That's the battle. In fact, Luke Maguire, slower than Sandeep Singh as well. Singh started to find a bit of time on the THR ahead. So podium battle's getting really interesting here, and Platt's got DRS as well.
I do actually predict that Sandeep Singh will pit earlier than Luke Maguire to maybe try to get past there.
He should anyway, because he was the first to pit on both stints so far. And a bit surprised that Faber pitted when he did, but he might be trying to undercut with the gaggle of cars he was in. He was right in the middle of this battle over Faber. So maybe trying to jump ahead of Senna Stoffman and maybe even Luke Mitchell, depending when Mitchell pits. Polenz pits then. So we are starting to swing into the pit stop phase. Maguire and Singh are the interesting ones. Let's see what Polenz says. Should be another set of hearts with this on to go 16 laps. Lap 35 to lap 50 we're on. Polenz will exit the pit, or Stoffmill's in as well. So Faber should come out ahead of Stoffmill, I'd imagine, and Polenz is nicely in P8. So Faber then around the final corner should undercut and does undercut Senna Stoffmill actually really quite comfortably.
Dylan Platt and Steven Lexel are close again for P10, P6.
Yeah, and that is Lexo following Platt. So Platt then has got a nice bit of free air now that Stoff Mills pitted out the way, and can start putting some good lap times down again. 1:43.2 with all of that in front of him. Still faster than Luke Maguire though, so Maguire still continuing. Maybe he's going to try and blitz the end of the race on a fresher set of tyres, but you know, again, I'm starting to look at Dylan Platt as an obstacle towards the end of the race. It will all come down to tyre life, won't it? Oh, it's starting to get a bit leery as well through the grandstand section over the curbs, trying to find traction, trying to find bite from the tyres, and now he does come in. This is crucial, and Singh's going to come in at the same time. Singh's closed right up, isn't it? Almost within, well, definitely within 2 seconds, almost within a second, Sandeep Singh flying in the road to Formula. Frelick also in the pits, top three all in the pits, but let's see where Dylan Platt comes between the top two.
Oh, this will be very interesting. Simon, of course, a very good pit stop. Luke as well, Sandeep as well.
So, Frelick's out easily, Maguire's there. Do you know what? Platt might have been held up one lap too long behind those cars. It did hurt him in the end. He had enough pace, but not to get ahead of Sandeep Singh, to stay ahead of Sandeep Singh. And that's ruined Sandeep Singh's chance of second as well, isn't it? So Frelick, plenty of time. Dylan Platt not quite able to get back past Luke Maguire.
Yeah, but I would say at least for Frelick, he's now got it all in his own hands. And now it will be interesting.
And that's why I'm not part of a team in GPVWC as well, mate, because I called that completely wrong.
Yeah, it was kind of late, but yeah, I think they all responded to each other like, oh, now the one is going, we're going as well, and it was kind of cool to see all those teams actually going for pits, and yeah.
So, top five at the moment is Frelick, Maguire, Platt, Singh, Lexo. Lexo's yet to pit again, so it'll be Polenz. So that's Polenz ahead of Grangfist then after the pit stops as well. So Polenz managed to undercut Jan Grangfist. Bad news for Jan Grangfist in the championship race. If it stays like that, then Frelick and Maguire will be almost identical. I think Frelick might actually take the lead in the championship, but then Grangfist will lose ground. So good news for Frelick, ish news for Maguire, bad news for Grangfist. Chris Butcher just underlining the pace he's had already to 1:40.1, fastest lap of the race, and the fastest by quite a margin as well.
Yeah, now you do already see that Sandeep Singh has more speed than Dylan Platt, so I fear for Dylan Platt it will be very difficult to keep this podium position. It just looks that Sandeep is a little bit faster, a little bit more trustful of the car. Let's see if he already goes for it here. It's got quite a bit of a big run, but now just go for it. But he is closing in while Luke Maguire is driving away from Sandeep Singh and Dylan Platt.
I mean, there's a 4 or 5 lap tyre difference, and the way that the tyres have been degrading, that's a massive advantage for Sandeep Singh at the moment, isn't it? So, Singh, as you like to say, probably expecting to get through, but maybe not for a little while. We're seeing how resilient some of these cars and some of these drivers have been out of the traction zones. And then all of a sudden for Dylan Platt, when he was fighting Maguire and the last stint, it sort of all fell away from him. I'm imagining it will be something similar this time, maybe not so easy for Sandeep Singh to get through now, maybe in 5 or 6 laps time as Dylan Platt's tyres really start to scream.
Very true. I now see Perseus Miram letting some drivers go. And still is in P15. He's eyeing that final point in this race. So the current lap time of Simon Frelick of 1:42.0. What does Luke Maguire do? A 1:41.3, 1:41.8, and 1:41.9 for Sandeep Singh. As Steven Lexel has a 1:42.1. So Simon Frelick is driving quite a bit slower, a few tenths slower than the rest, but maybe Schumer is actually saving a bit of push to pass and a bit of tires to make sure he's got enough in the end. I'm not sure.
Here comes Sandeep Singh up the inside of Dylan Platt. Dylan Platt squeezes to the inside and there's contact, and they both make contact. They're still making contact, and Sandeep Singh eventually ahead. Oh, DC, I am so happy I'm not you tonight.
Well, that was kind of interesting. So I believe Sandeep hit Dylan there, and then yeah, he hit him again to make sure he didn't spin. So it was kind of interesting, and well, luckily they didn't sustain terminal front wing damage, but the car took quite a hit. So yeah,
we saw it there as well, that looks can be deceiving. It looked like there was a pinch at the apex from Dylan Platt, but again, how late was Sandeep Singh? Was it legitimate? It looked it. And again, they weren't steaming in. They weren't struggling to make the corner. I think it was just fair racing, and you know, all's fair in love and war, as they say. So Sandeep Singh and past Dylan Platt into third. It'll be interesting to see if they sort that out between each other, or whether they'll just continue and sort it out after the race. Hopefully, they'll all just make up and carry on as normal.
Yeah, it's very true. But of course, it was for a podium position.
Main thing is that there's no damage on either of the cars as it looks, and they're both continuing, and actually Platt has stayed within DRS range and may think about having a look back himself.
Yeah, so I'm actually looking, and the gap between Shimon Frelick and Luke Maguire is coming down quite rapidly. Is Luke Maguire then looking to steal this win away from Shimon Frelick? Of course, there are 10 laps to go after this lap. He is catching with quite a bit of time, and now Shimon Frelick has got more problems, maybe a bit of a small problem, but Chris Butcher, the teammate of Luke, is now in front of Shimon Frelick. So will Chris Butcher, will he lose time will he lose Simon time or not? I think Chris will not be in the way too much, but it's
No,
it's
I
a thing.
think Chris is switched on enough to know that that's a silly game to play, as will Owen Phil Hauswick in the Royal Blue, as you saw right behind his teammate, a lap down as well. So both teammates are in play, but I'm sure they are switched on enough not to get involved in any of that silliness, as Pascal Polenz rally driving through the grandstand trying to get onto the back of Dylan Platt, who has now slipped off the back of Sandeep Singh. So the second Road to Formula car, I tell you what, they're having a good race here at Road to Formula, with THR and Royal Blue both falling into trouble, and Super Venturi as well. Road to Formula going to pick up a nice haul of points.
And another pit stop for Stephen Lexo.
Yeah, I think that was scheduled though, wasn't it?
Okay, yeah. So then he loses quite a bit of position. So
yeah, he should come out in P10.
I think even P11, because David Wasserman is past him, so he's in P11.
I tell you what, Jan Granqvist has just done a stunning first second, 27.2. Also, on 27.2, that's Pascal Polenz, who's got the RS, and that will be why. So, yeah, great speed putting on. So people are starting to ramp it up as the fuel goes down. They're starting to worry less about the tyre wear. Simon Frelick responds at 140.9, only a tenth slower this time than Luke Maguire. So a lot more even. That gap sort of stabilising just under 5 seconds. And again, how much tyre life is Luke Maguire taken out of those tyres with 10 laps still to go? We've seen the tyre wear's been high so far.
And also how much push to pass, they've got a push to pass system. How much did he use of that? Maybe Shimon has got quite a bit extra left. Unfortunately, we can't see what they've got left at the moment. So that's a bit of guesswork. Otherwise, it would
to be
have
honest,
really...
you could have as much push to pass if you want, as the world can throw at you. If you have tyres like Jan Granqvist had in the first minute, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever.
That's true. That's
the
true.
rear end of your car sticking out of a wall.
But yeah, he's actually getting quite close now. He's getting closer and closer. Yeah, just see the car a bit.
Yeah, that is down to 4 seconds now. So another 8/10 on that lap. Faster than them both. Sandeep Singh, who, if he hadn't have lost that bit of time earlier with Dylan Platt, who knows where he'd be with Luke Maguire, because he was right behind Luke Maguire coming out of the pits, wasn't he? And now he's done a 1:41.5. That was a personal best. So no, he's right on pace with him. He would have been in this fight as well. Still don't think Maguire's got enough time to close in. Back down the road, Luke Mitchell drops P9 after his latest pit stop. He's now behind Senna Stoffmill for TTF. So the drive car, great qualifying up in P3, dropped down at the start. Strategies have seen him drop from 6th to 9th in that time, but now he's starting to fight back and try and get through on Senna Stoffmill.
Yeah, so Luke Maguire is now having some traffic as well. And let's see how easy they...
Oh, that is Stoffmill and Mitchell. Stoffmill and Mitchell, and now that's the other TTF into, and that's Joffe, who's a lap down. Also Wasserman as well, the last mode, also concepts getting out of this. So what damage is done to Mitchell and Stoffmill? What happened there? They just got together in turn 13, and somehow, I think it was Stoffmill who just spun on his own, but somehow...
Was it Stoffmill or was it Joffert who spun? That's the...
It was Stoffmill, because Joffert was behind. Yeah, they were fighting each other, so it was definitely Stoffmill. And Joffert's the one who's come out with the damage, having hit the back of Luke Mitchell, who was trying to get himself free.
Yeah, and now Silver Joffert is the only one with front wing loss. So he loses quite a bit, and can then purchase Miram. Can he then take that 14th place out of from Silver Joffert? I think it will be pretty close. We've got also David Wasserman in the pits.
And while they're doing that, Jan Granqvist is the next to climb all over the back of Dylan Platt's TR Geeks car. But Granqvist's car hasn't looked the most stable, has it, under throttle tonight? He's had all sorts of issues keeping that car in a straight line. Down in P6, trying to get into P5. The good news for Dylan Platt, who, as we sort of expected on this two-stop strategy, is sliding down the order a little bit. He's still got a nice buffer back to Aidan Faber, who really was his battle all along. So Platt would be happy with 6th, I think. But he's still got a chance of holding Granqvist off P5, of course.
Yeah, and Silver Joffert came out from P15, so Purchase Miram just went to P14, so he will need to fight really hard for that P14 into points, but let's see what will happen between those two in the end.
Absolutely. So Platt now is still just hanging on, but we saw it was the traction zone into DRS that he was struggling with. Let's see how that works out for him. Back up front, Maguire still marginally faster than Frelick, but not fast enough. Singh and Hurlen's pretty much matching each other. Line astern in the Roche Formula Racing cars. Wasserman now up to P10 as Mitchell sorts himself out through the pits. And yeah, that, as you said, Lexo P9, Wasserman P10 then. So Wasserman had his own issue earlier on in the first stint, losing his, having a spin. But recovering nicely for the top 10. Look at these Road to Formula cars. Absolutely in formation. And quite happily going towards a 3rd and a 4th place finish, and not really under any pressure from behind, and not really looking like they're going to be able to do much in front either.
Yeah, Shimon Frelick for now looks to have it all under control. Well, he nearly completed lap 44. So another one. Let's see what's the difference in pace. Yeah, I believe he's even faster now than Luke Maguire. So Luke Maguire tried to get closer and closer, but Shimon Frelick seems to have it all under control. And Sandeep Singh now in P3.
So, lap 44 of 50 at Marina Bay in Singapore. It's a thing called Superlights, leg 3 of 4 in GPVWC. We've got Super League on Thursday, of course, the main event. As it stands, though, we've got a championship battle. We've got 3 rounds left after this one. And it's going to be between Simon Frelick, Luke Maguire, and Jan Grankvist. And Frelick is going to be the happiest of the trio as it stands, because he's got 4.7 second lead over Luke Maguire at the moment, with Pascal Pollins now past Sandeep Singh into P3, so a swap between the two Formula cars. Then Dylan Platt's ahead of Jan Grankvist, but on a different strategy as Senna Stoffmill comes in for a pit stop, I think without a front wing.
Look, yes, it's Senna Stoffmill without a front wing, so it's not only Sylvia but also Senna Stoffmill within a few laps without a front wing. And how much will this cost him? I don't think it will cost him a lot, because Chris Butcher is quite a bit far behind, so top 10 is assured for Senna Stoffmill, but of course he's now out of the better positions. Well, so a car passing there, that was
David Wasserman has just done a 139.4. Where on earth has that come from? What a lap!
Yeah, that was quite a good lap.
Miles faster than anyone else.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he's so far behind, so he cannot gain an extra position. So they're all. David will now try to get the extra point for fastest lap, and when everybody now is in the points, and if you have got the gap, why not go for extra pit stop and steal that fastest lap point away? So for now it should be for David Wasserman, and let's see if he keeps it.
Favour pits as well, so really Dylan Platt's race has worked out beautifully in that 2-stop, hasn't it? Hyperion in favour. Lexo then will cycle back out ahead in 7th after his stop a few laps ago. Wasserman nowhere near, so Stoffmill's problems really hurt him. Mitchell down in P13 after his problems behind Phil Hausvik, and Chris Butcher all of a sudden up in P11.
Yeah, and quite interesting, so Adrian Faber did pit, but he is on the red tire, so he will be lightning quick as well. Only 5 laps to go, so I think Adrian Faber will do purple sector after purple sector. We will actually see, but Adrian Faber will be flying, and he wants that extra point as well.
Yeah, you say that. We've got to get to the end of the race. We saw him actually struggled in the softs on the first stint there. We did about 6 or 7 laps, didn't they? So it'll be tight for them. They're still going to make sure they don't stuff it in the wall. As we look back towards Grankvist, who has got a battle in front of him. So of course the backmarkers are going to get out of the way, but Butcher and Phil Hausvik are fighting each other, and they are points in the team's championship, of course, between THR and Royal Blue Racing. It doesn't matter that they're P11 and P12, every point counts. So Dylan Platt still holding off Jan Grankvist, who of course needs points for his championship battle, and this has just become more complicated because Platt will get DRS. They spent a good half a lap at least behind Phil Hausvik and Butcher.
Yeah, and Dylan Platt will lose a lot. But look, Owen Hausvik is actually doing the right thing here. So let them both pass. And where will Chris Butcher do that?
Yeah, and this is the thing. Phil Hausvik really put the onus on Chris Butcher, hasn't he? Because now he's going to say, if you mess up with where you let these guys through, I'm going to get through on you. So a bit of play there from Phil Hausvik, nicely done. And look, that is Butcher trying to get out of the way into the thing. That's going to get tight.
But it was a stupid place to do it, because nearly got the chance. No, Chris Butcher stays ahead, but that was, I think, not the most intelligent way to go away from the racing line, because he was really vulnerable for Owen to overtake him. Owen did that quite smart on the straight, because then you can still have quite a bit of speed and in order to overtake you. But Chris Butcher's still in front.
It was tight. It just about worked for a minute, didn't it? It was probably, though, the only place he could do it without being attacked on the next part of track. Of course, he was under pressure a little bit, but he just about got away with it. Back up front then, Frelick down to 3.7 seconds to Maguire. Maguire still closing in. Senna Stoffmill, you were right, flying on the soft tyres, 138.9 now. Mitchell as well on into the 139s as Butcher does make a pit stop.
Oh, he makes a pit stop, so that's interesting.
Very interesting. Didn't see that coming, to be honest, unless he can't get to the end of the race on the tyres he was on, and there you go, switch to softs. And away he goes. Unless he's got damage. Does he pick damage up somewhere? He seems to be stationary for a long time for a tyre change there. Anyway, back out onto the track. These two have been released. It's Dylan Platt, who's a bit shaky there. Almost in the wall on those older tyres. He's done, what, 15, 16 laps now on those tyres? They will be screaming. Jan Grankvist pitted later, and he is all over the back of it. Also
very interesting, Adrian Faber pitted a lap ago, and he will go for the fast lap now. I'm not sure if he gets it, but he is much faster than Steven Lexo, and I think with the amount of laps to go, I think Adrian Faber will have a real chance passing Steven Lexo if he doesn't put it in the wall. So green sector 1 for Adrian Faber, so he's going quite fast. Will that be fast enough for the new fast lap?
Yeah, meanwhile Grankvist almost into the back of Dylan Platt into turn 14, very close under braking. He's got so much more grip, he just hasn't got the speed out of the corner at the moment in the crucial stages to get through, and I think it's quite clever from Dylan Platt. He's using his tyre life where he needs to, but you can see now that tyre delta really starting to play a difference. Dylan Platt still P5 then. Sandeep Singh now outside of the DRS activation point from his teammate Pascal Polenz. They've slipped a long way back from Luke Maguire. Luke Maguire still half a second faster than Shimon Frelick. That gap's down to 3.2. Lap 48, 3 laps to go.
Adrian Faber is on a flyer, but not fast enough to get the position the fastest lap from Senna Stoffmill. But let's see how much quicker he is. He did that for only 140.0.
Here comes Grankvist. Very hard defence from Platt towards the wall, but Grankvist had the speed, and Grankvist gets straight into P5. Platt coming back then on the outside, but he can't get it done. Still defensive goes Grankvist with a slide of traction and no oversteer for Platt, and that's all she wrote. Grankvist up to P5, important for his championship hopes. Dylan Platt down to 6.
Yeah. Precious Miram is still in P14 with Silver Joffert in P15. Silver Joffert is running out of time to get Precious Miram for P14, so those Precious get 2 points instead of 1. We will see.
Yeah, back up front then. This is Chris Butcher actually, not Luke Maguire. It's Chris Butcher, and he's on a flyer now that he's back out on circuit on those red tyres again. You know, extra point could be crucial in the race for the championship. So Maguire down to 3.2 behind Shimon Frelick, but they actually matched each other on the last lap. In fact, Frelick a 10th faster, so I think Frelick's got it in the bag with a lap and a bit to go. Maguire P2, Polenz P3, Singh still tagging along though in the Road to Formula battle over 3rd and 4th. And Grankvist we just saw up to P5, important for the championship. Dylan Platt P6, plenty of back over Steven Lexo though. Great strategy from TR Geeks to get Platt from 8th to 6th on the starting from medium hard. Lexo P7, Adrian Faber P8. That's from P9 and Stockton P10.
Faber is very close to the fastest lap now. Chris Butcher is very close to the fastest lap. Faber is close to overtake. So yes, new fastest lap for Chris Butcher. But let's see what Adrian Faber can do. Will P8, will it be P7? Will he still a point away from the Super Venturi guys? I think he's got loads more grip, but can he overtake? No, not here, not here. And he doesn't have a lot of time. So not this lap.
Not too far away, and it will be interesting to see if Lexo's still got enough tyres. Still, Sandeep Singh is on the rear wing of his teammate, but we know the teammate, Pascal Polenz, had the pace to get through in the first place. Singh just backing out the slipstream there. I wonder if he's got a bit of cooling issues going on towards the end of this race. It is an attritional race, it's a long race. We've seen brake issues here before in Singapore and GPVWC. Wouldn't be a surprise, again ducking out of the air, unless that's just saying, hello Pascal, I am here. And I would quite like that podium, please, thank you. Very much so. So the two rows formers in flying formation, there's a front wing on
That's from
the
Silver Yoffert.
track. Yeah, so Yoffert's in the pit. On to the final lap though. And 3.4 is the gap up front. Frelick has this in the back. Surely he's just got to get round the final lap. Look how close Sandeep Singh is. We'll stick with this battle for now, because Sandeep Singh really thinking about a third position. Pitted earlier than anyone at the start of the race. He's managed to eke his way through the order. He's up into the top 3. Here we go then. Here is the battle. Will Sandeep Singh make the move on his teammate? He's closing, and Poland won't fight too much for it. Singh doesn't make the move though. Singh backs out of it, and much more caution with his teammate, and Poland holds on. Maybe they're just having a bit of fun between each other. Yellow's in sector 2, just as we come towards the end of the race.
Luke Mitchell, and I think it. Oh, the engine blew up. Engine blew up for Luke Mitchell. So engine failure. Oh, drama.
Disaster for the drag racing car then after qualified P3.
Oh,
Faber
and we've
can't
got a
get through.
great battle for P7,
Yeah.
P8. Lexo
Faber
without grip.
But as we focus on that, we should go back and focus on Shimon Frelick, who has been absolutely outstanding. The best compliment you can give is that we've hardly talked about him. Shimon Frelick then, round the final couple of corners for Royal Blue Racing, important win. It puts him right in the championship battle, pretty much level on Luke Maguire, and Shimon Frelick takes the victory in Singapore. History at the track, fantastic win for him. Luke Maguire P2 then for THR, and just now you'll see the two roads Formula cars after a bit of a battle on off that. It'll be Sandeep Singh 4th, Pascal Polenz 4th in the championship, really cementing that position.
Oh, and he gives the position.
He gave the position back.
Oh.
Is that what happened then? So Sandeep up to P3 then, Polenz P4, will stay 4th in the championship. Mitchell starting to drop down. We've got Grangfist P5, Platt, brilliant in P6, and now we've got the battle for P7. Lexo and Faber. Faber really trying to get the power down, but Lexo is going to hold on. P7 for Super Venturi. Adrian Faber, fantastic race though. In P8 in for Patrick Rozak, of course, at Hyperion. P9 then, David Wasserman had his own issue earlier on at the spin and he had to wait. It seemed forever for everyone to go through, but a fantastic recovery and a cool head for David Wasserman. And plenty of pace too as well, fast laps in there to come home P9. And Senna Stoffmeal, who had his own issue as well, will round out the P10. Only 4 other finishers, Owen Phil Haugsvig P11 for Royal Blue Racing. Chris Butcher had 2 lost front wings, he's P12. Curtis Miram P13 and Silver Yoffe lost the front wing towards the end, P14. The non-finishers then, Lou Mitchell, Tom van der Voort, Fabian Bauer, Matthias Kudzowski, David Goro, Starengi retired, Vicky Gray, Fabian Schurter. So there is then the classified finishers.
Yeah, so
as we ran through.
Yeah, quite interesting to name is that P14 is there for Luke Mitchell. So his engine blew up at the final lap, but because he was still in the points, he will be classified and can still take home points because it was so close to the finish. He will be classified and takes still away 2 points for the team. So that's I think decent. But yeah, here you see it: Shimon Frelick, Luke Maguire, Sandeep Singh. Or podium, then Pascal Polenz, Jan Grangfries, Dylan Platt in P6, then Steven Lexer P7, Adrian Faber P8, David Wasserman P9, and Senna Stoffmeal in P10. Olafil Housevik, a good P11, Chris Butcher P12, Luke Mitchell, still let's see, is that P13 or P14? What does my game says? Yeah, I see P13 for Precious Miram in my game and P14 for Luke Mitchell, so we need to confirm that, in P15 for Silver Yoghurt. So those are the top 15 and the point scorers for this crazy Grand Prix. So our winner is Shimon Frelick, who said to me a few days ago, I had my one win every season and already won this season, so I might not win this season, but yes, he won at the second race of his second race of this season in this series. So yeah, he's in the hunt again. I'm not actually sure if he is leading. I think he is still 1 point behind if I calculated points. Well, yeah, I believe he is 1 point behind Luke Maguire. But yeah, here you see the upcoming events. We've got 3 Grand Prix to go: the Japanese Grand Prix, the Mexican Grand Prix, and the Brazilian Grand Prix. So they are coming up, very, very soon. So yes, we're now going for an interview, and let me see who we can drag in. So let me actually look who we want to drag in. Who is in? Let's start with Sandeep. I'm just asking. So we will drag him in first. So, hello Sandeep, you're live on air. Are you there, Sandeep?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hopefully, you're there. So, P3 in the end, an eventful race from you. I believe you actually make contact with several several cars, but still in the end, good strategy. Also, I think a decent P3. Can you take us through your whole race to tell us how it actually went?
Yeah, I don't give a shit if I hit a car or not. I mean, if cars hit me this season, they can have some payback, so who cares? Yeah, strategy, yeah. I mean, I knew I could, like, go long on the hards for anyone else. That's why I boxed early, because I wanted to take people out of their comfort zone. So, there was that. Then, yeah, the first stint screwed me over with Lexo, and then there was Dylan Pratt who like turned across me as well, which damaged my car. That ruined any chance I had for P2 because I felt I had the quickest race car out there by quite a bit. But oh well, is what it is. But yeah, I mean, like set my car up for the race just because I thought it would be better for me, and it ended up being good in the end. But yeah.
Yeah. So this podium, I think, was gifted to you in the final corner by Pascal, or what happened there?
I mean, I had damage, so I let Pascal through, and then like the last few laps, I noticed like I wasn't getting used to the car. I was quicker than him, and then he just let me back through. That was it.
So it was just a bit to help you a bit, dragging you along with the DRS. Was that the idea?
No, I was letting him go because he had time was quicker than Luke. But then I guess he pushed his eyes too much, and then I was just like chilling on the back of him, and he just let me through because I think that was just more of like, you know, we were trying to catch Luke, but then wasn't happening, so we switched back positions.
Okay, so with 3 rounds to go, we've got Japan, Mexico, and Brazil. Which one is your favorite?
Oh, Japan! I'm winning Japan. I don't care. Screw you guys in the championship. That's my round. Screw you.
Okay, well, I really hope to see that, Sandeep. Well, at least well done on your race. I think it's like always. It's always interesting when we see you.
Hey, I finished the race. I don't care. I managed to get to the end of the race. No idiot or twat or prick hit me off this time. If anyone has a problems, you can just suck it. See ya.
Okay, well, that was something.
I don't care about the language, so I don't either. But all right, see ya.
So yeah, that was Sandeep, or a P3 finisher. So yeah, that was quite a thing he said. But yeah, I think it's important for Sandeep to get a podium again. He had some bad luck, and yeah, he was the one that that needed this, and now he got it. So let's drag in the next one. That should be Jan Grankvist, if he's there. Hello, Jan.
Hello.
So, I think a more difficult race for you, a bit unlucky with some driving. Can you take us through your race?
Yeah, for sure. It was, well, I wouldn't say unlucky. We just lacked pace, and that was basically it. And actually, we just had a little chat with Luke there in the cool down room, I guess you could call it. And he told me, he was looking at my laps as I entered the server for the first time, and he said that I definitely last time, and he said that I definitely haven't done any laps, and like you could tell. But I mean, I'd say it was good damage limitation from our part. Both me and my teammate Stephen, who hopped in just in the last minute as well, managing to secure P7. So I mean, we're content with that. We're not complaining.
So this whole championship battle is going a bit up and downs, and let's say if I compare you with the other two in the championship, this was a bit of a down moment. With 3 Grand Prix to go, what's the battle plan for you? Because you're still in the fight.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can see from the recent form, it was more or less already getting consistent for me, getting those first places and second places, those podium finishes. But now I've got a lot of other priorities as well outside of GPV, making it difficult to focus on one thing. So it's something that I'll have to deal with, but I'll still be trying my absolute best to fight back for the next round and hopefully still get the title from both Luke and Zeman, which are doing a great job at the moment.
Yeah, it's a great championship. From the 3 Grand Prix coming up, what's your favorite? We've got Japan, Suzuka is that. We've got Mexico, and we've got Interlagos.
I got to say, Japan is one of my favorite tracks out of those three, and I can already spoil a little bit that we're going to be using a rather special livery for Japan as well, but I'm not going to tell you any more than that.
Oh, okay. So yeah, let's see how Japan will go, and also the other rounds. At least thanks for joining, and the very best of luck in the next few races.
Thank you very much.
Then we go to our next interview. We should have 2 more interviews if they're there. So next one is Luke Maguire. So let's drag in Luke. Hello, Luke.
Hello.
So, I think great finishing position, decent points. Take us through your race, and are you actually happy with this result, or you hoped for even more, or you think at this moment in time this is enough?
It's nice to get a few points on Jan, but it's not great to lose someone, Shimon. But I'm happy enough. But I lost so much in incidents during that race that I had the pace to win it, and it is a bit annoying not to win the race because I felt like we had the quickest car during that race. So fair play to Toby and Chris for the setup work and the strategy, and it was looking good. But someone was parked in my pit box. I lost about 4 or 5 seconds there, and got stuck behind Jan there, and then that was another 5 seconds lost, I think. And then I had to let a car pass on the straight because it said I overtook them illegally when they had crashed, and then so I had to give back the position for that and let Jan pass again. So I think the win was on the cards, but just luck was against us today. But yeah, P2 is not a bad result.
Yeah, and now it's with 3 rounds to go. It's getting closer and closer. What's your I asked it to I will ask it to Simon later, and I'll also ask it to Jan. What's from the 3 Grand Prix, that's Japan, Mexico, and Brazil, of the 3 Grand Prix to go, what's your favorite one, and who do you think will be challenging the hardest?
Mexico is probably my favorite one out of all them, and I think those kind of fast speed corner tracks I seem to go well at. So it's going to be a tough race between the 3 of us. I think it's going to be close till the end. I think the gap to me and Shimon now is 1 point.
Yeah.
So it's all to play for now, really. Just need to keep trying to win and go from there.
Yeah, so that's the thing you should do if you want the title. I think it will be really close. Luke, thanks for being there, and who knows, we will speak to you in 2 weeks.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
And then we will have the final interview, and that's of course with our race winner of this race. I hope he's there. Shimon, are you here? So, Shimon, finally a second win, and I guess this is what you needed because your recent run was unlucky. I would say you had a lot of bad luck recently. can you take us through your race, but also can you tell us what this means for the championship and to win at this track where you're always good at?
I mean, I was surprised I was on such pace. Qualifying was a bit of a surprise by how much I took pole. And from in the race, it's just yeah, in the race I was just driving on my own really, because I got away on lap 1 and the next couple of laps, and then just managing the traffic and push to pass. But I've also heard that people behind me, Luke and Sandeep, had incidents in the race, and maybe they would have been involved in the fight for the lead. But yeah, it was a pretty controlled race. I'm happy to win on pace in dry finally. And for the championship, I mean, really now I just try to take it race by race. I don't try to look at the points, because that would just pressure me into forcing me to drive better when maybe I can't sometimes. But yeah, it was a good race, and I want to shout out Ewan Gale, who was in the voice channel with me engineering, and there was also Jake Dennehan, Jack Mayer, Josh Downer, Thomas Harvey, and George Whitehouse, who are all in there making one, I guess, clusterfuck.
Well, yeah. All the language. So I asked your main rivals already, Luke and Jan. There are 3 Grand Prix left: Japan, Mexico, and Brazil. Which one of the 3 is your favorite? And yeah, who do you think will challenge you the most in the upcoming 3 rounds?
I mean, Japan was never good for me. I never enjoyed the track that much. I haven't got good results on that track. So I would have to say it's Brazil out of those 3 tracks, because Mexico, I have only driven in 2017, and that was when I started driving R Factor, so that wasn't the best representation of the track. But I think Mexico is a good track, so maybe it will be good. But yeah, in the championship, there's 3 contenders. They can all fight for it. Like Jan's crazy quick, Lucas as well, and I think I'm just trying to keep up with them.
Yeah, as well. I think you're doing a really good job. You changed the momentum, and I think that's what you needed for now. And yeah, let's see how it goes in the next couple of rounds. So Simon, thanks for being here. I'm not sure Ewan is now there. You want to ask our winner anything, Ewan?
No, I'm all good, but I do think my Wi-Fi's back, which is the good thing.
Yes, so that's good. So Simon, thanks for being here as a winner, and yeah, you can enjoy. And we see you back in 2 weeks.
Yep.
So that was Simon Frelick. So Ewan, for you, the last word, and
Yeah,
then
well,
we end the 3.
some pretty language, wasn't there? Yeah, no, I mean, great drive from Shimon, really, wasn't it? Thank you so much, Menno, for joining me tonight. We'll be back in, 2 nights' time for Super League, with the Super League guys taking to the track for the main event of the round, and then, as you said, Japan, Mexico, and to come soon as well. So 3 rounds left. Championship, really, really keenly poised, isn't it, between the top 3, Maguire, Frelick, and Grangfist, and I'm sure it's going to be superb all the way to the very end. For now, it's goodbye.
Bye-bye.